At this point in the course, you can review all the material. I hope you feel comfortable with what's going on. We begin with common sense, how everyone is involved. Then we learn that everyone has a mind. They have a way of perceiving or understanding the world, which also must be, respected. And then we look at objectivism, okay, which fundamentally means there are more than one person in the world. There's someone else in the world. If there's someone else in the world, and you have this thing called free will, then you need ethics. All right. And then in that area, we go deep to define it logically. All right. Then we look at the ways of classifying moral theories. You can have virtue ethics, deontology, and consequentialism. And we went through all the various theories. Now we look at applied ethics, not in the general way of applied ethics, but I want to apply what we have learned, again, this practicals in this course right here. All right. To do that, you need to understand the moral principles of all the theories. So let me review the moral theories real quickly, okay? Now, I don't want to go into detail because I'm trying to give you some of the arguments that prove the moral principle, because we're not just about accepting. For you to have your own creative mind, you need to know why the philosophers believe what they believe. Now, after we finish this argumentative phase, we want to just talk about their principle, okay? That means what's the rule, okay, that the philosophy used to judge people, or to judge acts, or to judge consequences. For Socrates, the moral principle is straightforward. A person's act is moral if they're acting from knowledge. You have to have the right moral knowledge. If you're acting from it because of the knowledge, your act is moral, okay? For Aristotle, your act is moral if you're acting from previously acquired character traits, okay? The virtues, okay? You need to have that character trait. We often just use virtues for Aristotle because it's the first phenomenal virtue ethicist here, okay? It's about character for Aristotle. And for David Hume, your act is moral if you're acting from your moral sentiment, your moral feeling, okay? All of these are virtue ethicists, but they have their own principle, okay? For Immanuel Kant, your act is moral if you're acting in accordance with the categorical imperative and without a desire to benefit from the consequences. He put that in there. From a sense of duty and without desire to benefit from the consequences. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do from your analysis, all right? For John Stuart Mill, what makes an act moral if it produced the greatest amount of good for the greatest number of people, okay? Trying to avoid act utilitarianism. For ethical egoism, what makes an act moral, it promotes an agent's genuine self-interest, long-term self-interest, okay? All these principles need to be in your mind, okay? And so if someone asks you what makes an act moral, you need to appeal to one of these, okay? Because you probably already do that. We have one of these definitions. Here's what we say applied ethics. When you come over here like this, and there are many examples of these online nowadays, so therefore it's not difficult to apply these. Well, people apply their own intuition. When you come to this college level, you're applying it from different people's perspective. You're seeing through their eyes, their perception of it. And once you understand this well enough, you can easily look at your own view, right? So you look at a case scenario like this, okay? You're visiting a friend in the hospital, you are informed that you have been selected to benefit your society. Despite your protest, you are strapped down and are informed that you have been chosen to be an organ donor to 5 distinguished citizens. The doctors are wholly captive, proclaim themselves to be moral. Woo-wee! I don't want to be in that situation. How could you be moral? You're going to be sacrificing me. I am not going to like that. No, 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 no. But based on your studies, what theory do you believe really captures that? What theory really explains that? Can you figure that out? Please do so. All right, please do so. What theory says that you're benefiting a greater number of people, okay, and that's what makes it morally right? This is the application part. Which theory would think like that? That's for you to figure out. You need to figure this out for yourself, okay? If this was a regular college class, I would test you on those kind of things. Let's look at this one. When you're looking at case scenarios, one way to do that, effective critical thinking, is don't begin with the story, but begin with the question first. I'm talking about in the other classes, non-philosophy, begin with the question first. If it's a story, right? If this one said, how should we evaluate Michael's decision using the 6 theories of morality? So we studied 6 theories, and apparently this case scenario is actually applied all the 6 theories. It's not just one theory, okay? If you have time, you read it, okay? And what you're going to discover is that Michael Trent is behaving in a way that's inconsistent with being a fireman, okay? And so it's asking to apply the 6 theories, okay? How do you explain his behavior in terms of Immanuel Kant? How do you explain his behavior in terms of John Stuart Mill, okay? All the applications I have here uses basic common sense. If your common sense says this is right, generally it's right. I'm not trying to get complicated. This is like intro. And the best way to do intro is use common sense examples to illustrate the theories. And then you get the complex theories like abortion or stem cell research. But then by then you are comfortable applying these various theories. Okay. How would you respond with each of these 6 theories? Okay. How would, like, if it's something wrong, I can give you one example. Like if you apply Socrates, well, Michael Trent is not doing the right thing because he doesn't have the right knowledge. You see, if you don't have the right knowledge, that's why you're doing wrong. That's Socrates' way. So each of those, I want you to do the exact same thing. Tell me why he's acting right, how he's acting wrongly. What would the theory say? What makes the theory say you're acting wrong? You're acting immorally. If it's not immoral, but it's actually amoral. So that's what Socrates would say. All of them have an answer like that, right? One more. Again, all right? And this one is saying, hey, in order to, I mentioned before, one of the takeaway from this unit or what the philosopher presenting is ethics is something you learn to do. Your parents may culture you into some, but unless you take some time to learn all of these things before you get into the act, reading a book, taking this course here, okay, and trying to answer these questions, okay? And don't use judging other people or even judging yourself. You look at the amount of the philosophers, look at their theories, and you agree with them, you attack them, you have all your fight with them. That's what they're there for. Don't take it out on your brother or your sister or your best friend. Take it out on these people here. Look at their theory to the details. Look at the analysis other people have of them, and you will now develop your own critical thinking skills. So when you look at real life situation, your brothers did something that seemed completely wrong. It's very difficult when you see the overt act, but when you study these things in detail, you suddenly become detached. It appears to be wrong, but is it really wrong? What was his motive? What was happening? Was there some stressor behind it? That was what I see that I'm unaware of. Was his life threatened? That's why he engaged in that act, right? You learn to reserve judgment. Here, I'm actually to apply the theory of hedonism. So which of these theories really captured this statement? This is the last slide here. We may study ethics and morality, but it's within a certain domain, certain context. When you make a moral judgment of someone or some act, or you even gonna decide what you're gonna do morally, all right? It's based on the total knowledge you have at the moment, right? If the decision can be right, but you may be missing other information. But in real life situation, that's why applied ethics is different. In real life situation, you can't wait forever like we're doing in normative ethics. We're just theorizing, creating better stories and better stories. In real life, you make a decision in the moment. Okay. And in that sense, your conscience is cleared. But as all of a sudden you get more information, like if you judge your brother's being wrong, all of a sudden you realize somebody threatened his life. That's why he did what he did. You change your view. Ethics is like that. It's like a GPS setting. It's pure calculus. The problem, the challenge to ethics, okay, this practical wisdom, Aristotle would phrase it as, okay, the challenge to it is that it exists or your decision, your judgment is made in the moment of what you know about the real situation. Your day-to-day acts are the same, judging people, judging acts, all the same. This is very, very important. As information changes, your judgments must change because you're promoting the greater good, but you don't know what the greater good is. So you're promoting greater good as far as you understand it. And you may say, well, that's not good enough. I'm not going to do it. Well, unfortunately, who's going to want to associate with you when you decide you're going to be openly an immoral person? You can hide and pretend to be moral, but if you're openly immoral, unethical person, who's going to want to associate with you? Who's going to want to be your friend? Who's going to hire you? Nobody. So therefore, even though the system seems imperfect, it is the way it is because you're looking at something, as Hume would say, is does not imply ought. You can't see the future as a fact. You couldn't make predictions about it. So you make predictions about how you're going to behave based on the overall information and based on your study. The more you study, the more you understand from different sides. From the philosopher side, do not beat up on people and things like that. Or you can do like me. I look at movies and apply my philosophical understanding to the movies. Okay. I go in there, apply my knowledge to the movie, and I evaluate this is a utilitarian setup, this is an ethical egoism setup, and I apply these things. And it makes me formidable in understanding how to apply the theories. So when I'm teaching it, it's like it's do for me because I didn't just live in the book. I went and applied it in a way, in the area in which it is being used to create very, very creative movies. Sometimes they fail, they bomb into the ethical side. Okay, I'm gonna say that. Okay, but I get to see and I apply, and I think I would recommend that for students rather than judging real life people. To do their study. Their study should be in a controlled environment. If it's not the movies, then it should be looking deeply into the philosopher's works, okay? And then you would get a better understanding without going through the reality of it. Because in real life scenario, real applied ethics, you don't have all the information. You got to make a decision in the moment, the best decision, and you did your best. And that's what ethics is about. If you want to do more, you acquire more knowledge, study more. But in real application, you must have a good perception of the world around you, what's going on, and things of that nature. Right. And so it's an ongoing process. You're always getting better and better, I believe, over time.